I've just been staring at my phone. Bad luck, Megan, bad luck. A Friday evening, I was overtaken by the need to kill this white whale. I had to kill it. I had to finish this quadrilogy. I didn't want to let another month pass me by without having book 4. So I read book 4. I read it in 2 days, which is very quick for me, and I hated every moment of it. Truly, with my whole heart, hated every moment. Never has a finale of a book been so out of left field sideways. I have never seen Sex and the City 2, but the fact that Sex and the City 2 takes place in the desert for some reason is very apt for this book. I have a lot of thoughts about what this book could possibly be, why this happened this way. However, I have to explain to you the book first. So I've been drinking a lot of water. I've been fed. I am perfectly capable of taking a fan break if necessary. Let's get started. I read Lacey Harrelson's quadrilogy, Alphas. I read Alphas. I read Alphas. I read Movers and Fakers. I read Belle the Brawl. And now I have finished it with Top of the Food Chain. So, if you didn't watch book 3's recap recently, I will, at the end of book 3, everyone should be happy. Everyone, it's like, the only person who's, like, not have a boy is Sky, but she has a chance to get with Taz because Sydney has moved on to be with someone equally as moody. And She-Ra has abandoned the island. It's Alpha's gone wild. All the girls are going book. Yeah. It's... Oh, God, Jesus Christ. Show me my quote. Excuse me. I have to say that this book is chocked with so many late 2000s, early 2010 references and make your head swirl. But honestly, it feels good being able to put this baby to rest. Like putting a pillow over the face of a child. It's like every time I do this, I forget how to. Okay, so Shira, that's how her name is supposed to be pronounced. She-Ra has left the island and the girls have gone Lady of the Fly. Chapter 1, it's Charlie. We have 30 girls at the start of this book. And we have entered the Thunderdome. As it starts with Charlie cheering for Sky in a paddleboard race, because after about a week of all the girls partying and kind of living in harmony, they have switched into conflict mode and are doing challenges to try and figure out who is alpha for life. It is essentially the girls will challenge each other to different activities currently. Someone challenged House Jackie O to a paddleboard race, and if they lost the paddleboard race, Sky would have to go home. All the girls in the paddleboard race that have lost so far, going home. Charlie's chapter opens up with a recap of Charlie's plot so far. So, you know, she gets to the island. She's a fake. But is she a fake? she makes friends. She doesn't make friends. She breaks up with Darwin. She gets back with Darwin. Fully ignoring Jess. They had a person of color lead romance, and they said, cut that shit. Cut it out. Alpha, for the last 2 weeks, it's been Alpha Chaos, has devolved into wagers of skill. With the leaders, wagers of skill, with the loser girls getting sent home. Sky's in a paddleboard race that she barely wins. Little notes that, kind of come into this is, we do finally get a definitive answer about what the girls are competing for. Well, not what they're competing for, but what the parameters are. Because it's like a school year, but it's also just like, it's only for the semester. They never say what happens next, because I'll get to it. But, God. 6 more girls are heading home just through these wagers. And Charlie suspects that Shira has hidden cameras, and that's her eyes and ears. So even though Shira's not on the island, she can watch them alpha about and make decisions about who's going home outside of the girls and their wagers. Let's do some quote reading. Charlie, worry-winced, flattened into a pained smile as she thought back to Alpha's response when Shira first announced her emergency business trip. Everyone had gone nuts over the thought of being unsupervised, and the island instantly ignited with late-night bonfires, impromptu fashion shows with non-regulated outfits, and a rewired sound system perfect for blasting the new Kanye album. Ding! A 2010 reference right there. I'll figure out what album that is. Put that there. But the party didn't last for long. Soon, being the competitive alphas they were, the girls began to invent competitions, and that's when it became clear what Shira's plan was from the start. Before she left, Shira prophesied one girl will make herself known, one will stand above the rest as leader. Like an estrogen-filled remake of Lord of the Flies. The girls quickly abandoned their parties and set about vying for control, and the house muses, the camp counselor types, who mentored each alpha house, responded in kind. For every contest, they were awarded a prize. The bunk that got the goat milking contest for the island's organic farm got to control the weather on the island for 24 hours. The house that had bested at Alice in Wonderland all-night giant chess match got makeovers and leadership coaching. The losers were sent home. So that's essentially what we're dealing with right now. Because only one girl would be left standing at the end of the semester. Whoever it would be the ultimate alpha. Or how had she put it? Charlie searched her memory for Icy Ozzy's exact words. Alpha for life. No one knew exactly what that meant. They just knew they wanted it. Okay, chapter 2. It's a Sky chapter. So I called it! Now this is a girl boss reality show. Sky recounts her win against Spinach of Queen Elizabeth House. Spinach's bestie, Louisa, comes in to be catty and, try and make a stink. She essentially is just like, hey, you sent my friend home, so what line is that? You send your best man, you're gonna lose your best hitter. That's essentially what's happening. So she's like, well, you wanna square up? Let's do a personal alpha plane flight race tomorrow. Sky's big mouth leads her there, but Charlie backs her up and says that she can totally do it, that she essentially built these things. Then, the great and powerful stunt flyer, Mayday Payday or whatever, walks in. These girls have ridiculous names at this point. Walks in and she's like, I'm gonna be the co-pilot for Louise. And Charlie is just like, shit, okay, we gotta brainstorm this. Let's figure it out. But they're going to do it at high noon. Louisa tries to rub in Skye's face her romance with Taz, even though it's not in romance. The only good thing about this, because of how much I can't stand Taz as a character, is the fact that Taz has been like weird to her, as previously stated in book 3, has been weird to her since the Sydney Taz Skye love triangle. And she's just like, they're just like Jake Gyllenhaal and Taylor Swift, and it's just like Taylor Swift's All Too Well 10-minute version plays in the background. Chapter 3. As Charlie and Skye plan their big helicopter race, Allie thinks about how great everything with Mel has been going. AJ still hates her for pretending to be her on the Muse cruise, but she realizes that she's sitting there and she realizes, oh shit, if they go home, I'm gonna be alone with AJ. Can't have that happen. So she comes up with the bright idea to dress up Taz and Darwin as girls so that they can be co-pilots and help make flying decisions. I don't know why if they were just gonna like shortchange them and dress them up as girls. I don't know why they felt the need that all of them needed to be on the plane. It's for the plot, but also very stupid. So AJ ran her index finger across her neck in a slicing motion. Her Burt's Beeswax lip mouth the words, "You're compost," which is somehow more ominous to me. Also, Allie refers to whatever the hell happened she did with AJ as words are so hard, as a Ashley Simpson-esque lipstick, and I said, haha, I said that. Thank you, Nat. Nat Puff, you are a genius. As they decide about they're putting the boys up in drag, Allie slides her A-pod shut, Mel's in, and he'll convince Taz and Darwin, but he seems more into the idea of wearing my clothes than actually flying. Should I be worried? And Charlie says only if he can't zip them up. And you know what? That's the correct answer. You only have to be worried about people breaking your clothing. Don't police what other people put on their bodies. Worry about yourself. Jury's still not out about calling a 14-year-old girl a bitch. I truly believe this is where things get stupid. What? Okay. Chapter 5. So they're flying over the Mojave Desert and they're like, everything's going great. Well, actually it's not going great. They're technically winning, but it's like a neck and neck race. They're like gonna go through it. Everything's good. Because I feel like we haven't discussed this enough. The fact that Alpha Island is a man-woman made structure in the middle of like fucking Arizona. So there's like man-made water and all that, but they're just in the middle of the Mojave Desert. And no one thought this was a problem until now. They go out into the Mojave Desert and then the plane starts to go down. Everyone is smelling French fry oil. I'd like to remind everyone that Charlie's dad died in a plane crash. So I feel like this is mighty fucked up. Like, this is quite a bit. The alphas don't know what's going on, neither do the boys. Everyone's trying to figure out everything and panicking and finger pointing. And the plane goes down. The plane is down. Everyone's arguing. And they now have to start troubleshooting the plane. The PAP, the PAP system, which is like, is that a pap smear joke? Like, but the PAP goes down and Sky's pointing fingers at Allie, Allie's pointing fingers at blah, 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 and Taz and all that. Everyone's arguing. Like, so many things had to happen for this to go off. Now I understand why, because I understand the ending of this book. But not knowing what I know now. Dingo and Sid are in Africa making up for the fact that another girl broke up with Sid. She-Ra may be testing them. Why didn't Mayday and Louisa come back once they realized that the plane that they were looking for was missing? They didn't think to do a little loop-de-loop, and it's just like gross. So chapter 6 is a Sky chapter. Taz, like, they're all like sitting around starving. It's like November in the Mojave Desert, so like the daytimes are hot but the nights are cold, and he's like, I'm gonna have a dance party. Well, Allie and Mel try and start a fire with a pair of reflective sunglasses. Sky, trying to get back with Taz, is like, I'm gonna dance with him. I'm gonna party. While they're dancing and listening to music and wasting their phone battery that seems to be unending throughout this whole escapade, Sky remembers something she saw when the plane was going down. Turns out it's a pack with one night of provisions. It's got blankets, it's got water, and it's got food. The girls will not starve, because all they had before that was like protein bars. Everyone will starve. They're not all girls. I'd like to also, because I feel like they didn't really discuss it a lot, and so I never got to really like ruminate on it. The fact that the boys are like, if they die in the middle of the wilderness, they're gonna be found and dragged, and I find that absolutely insane. But this whole book is insane. Okay, chapter 7 is an Alley chapter. At the end of Sky's chapter, they hear a noise coming out from behind the pap, and they're like, oh my goodness, what is that? And they all go to look as a group, and guess who it is? It's AJ. AJ just snuck aboard the pap and was just chilling out there, and of course she shows up in her quintessential AJ-ness and is just like, I'm gonna make it about me. You wanna do a sing-along and joke about? And I'm tiny. AJ stretched her spindly arms out, as though trying to prove it. I heard you guys talking about the plan last night. I muted my AirPod when my headphones were on. I don't embrace this competitive spirit, but I felt like I should be a part of the experience. The words hung pointlessly in the air like a pair of old sneakers draped over a telephone wire. That's extremely weird, says Darwin. God. You know how terribly a character has to age for me to, root for it? At first, Allie focused on what Allie's always focused on, which is boys. It's just like, oh my goodness, Mel is going to be so interested in her and what she has to say. And like, AJ tries to take a swipe at her, and Mel is just like, no, I think what what's her face, what Allie has to say is valid. God, when I was first working on this back in June, I was like, I can't not say the character's name right. So no, I got to the point that I fully found contempt with these young women. Fully. Okay. There is an extended paragraph in which Allie fantasizes about the media coverage of their death and how it would go and because they're traveling with the Brazil boys and them being so famous, and what it would do to Mel and Trina, knowing that they drove her to her death. What in the suicide ideation is this? Lisi, answer for your crimes. My goodness. Chapter 8. Charlie wakes up first after the bonfire last night. She's like, It was really fun chilling out with my friends, but now I have to go be the leader. No one asked you to be the leader, but she feels the need to be the leader. So she heads over to look at the plane. She thinks to jumpstart, excuse me, the PAP. Doesn't work. Everyone's trying to like help her brainstorm it a little bit, and she's like, why would you even say a word to me about this? You know this is my thing. This is what happens when you compartmentalize teenage girls into their one thing that they are allowed to be or do. You end up with someone who feels attacked when someone else has two brain cells to rub together. So Allie is like, hey, if you're trying to get the GPS to work, it might help if we go and get onto that plateau over there and use it to reach, you know, a hot spot to get, you know, a signal going. Charlie's kind of sure, whatever, but, you know, it's a better idea than frying yourself in the middle of the desert. I have to say, do you not know where you were? Like, I understand it might take you a while, but could you in fact not just walk back in the direction you came from? I know there's probably a lot of spinning, and so maybe you don't know north from west, northwest, but like, you crashed you were out there for so long that you had to spend the night. You would have known where the moon is. I don't know. I don't even like being outside that much, but like, I know that much about how not to die in the wilderness. Okay, chapter 9 is Sky. Sky is miserable as the group travels towards higher land. She cuts up her flight suit. The girls were all wearing matching flight suits, and the boys were dressed up in quintessential girly outfits. She cuts it up so that she can finally be, you know, a little more breezy because it's really hot in the desert at night, even though it's November. And she decides to let all her inhibitions go and tell Taz. She asked Taz, well, do you want to date anyone besides me? And he's like, well, are you gonna date my brother again? And she's like, again, everyone has to explain how She-Ra is somehow involved in these things, which raises so many questions. So many questions. So she's like, I only dated him because She-Ra asked me to. And he's like, yeah. Well, I guess. And then they share a little kissy kiss. And she's reinvigorated by their kiss. At chapter 9, this was the point in which I realized this was not the book that I signed up for. It was not the series I signed up to finish. And I'm in pain and I'm mad about it. Oh, my pink light's still going. Yeah, she's still riding. Okay, chapter 10. We enter the plateau and they only have one little bit of food left. As we get to the high spot, Charlie snaps at Darwin because Darwin's trying to help her think and troubleshoot, and she's feeling attacked because why would he try and tell her what to do on something that she is an expert in? And then, before they can really put two and two together, they're seemingly being rescued. There is a silver blimp from above coming down, and the wind is whipping around, and ooh. Chapter 11 is an Allie, and picking up from there, the wind is whipping around, and Allie is like, I don't like getting my face beaten by the wind. I'm gonna go stand beside my boyfriend. And when he's like, yeah, let's go over there, and he's like helping protect her. And then the moment the ladder drops down, abandons her, gone. And honestly, he's a teenage boy. I can't be mad. I don't know. I understand why in some ways, but also, Taz and Sydney, Taz and Mel, God, I forget which boy. Taz and Mel run up the ladder to get up onto the thing. Darwin is like, whatever, my brothers are stupid. I'm gonna go and like bitch them out. And then, because all of the Brazil boys are up onto the flight thing, it just checks out. Goodbye. Darwin makes eye contact with Charlie and is just like, this is bad shit. And then they are all sent a text from Shira that essentially says, my boys are soft and you girls are nothing to me. Figure your way out, try not to die. I'll see you tomorrow by sunset. So now it is just the Jackie O's. It's AJ, it's Allie, it's Charlie, it's Sky. Oh my god, I do have to read this. This is chapter 5 in reference to her almost dying in a plane crash. Don't start panicking, Charlie, she told herself sternly. Reflexively, she reached for the 3 cameo bracelets she always wore on her right wrist. Inside each cameo was a picture of Darwin and one of her mother, B, and the other of her DD, dead dad. He died in a plane crash before she was born, and touching his picture sent a shiver down her spine. Finally, they had something in common. Who the fuck thought that was a good idea? Were the editors smoking crack? Were they on fentanyl-laced Adderall at this point? Because what? She tried to calm herself by thinking about how cute Taylor Lautner was in Twilight Eclipse, but her teeth began to chatter again. She preferred her wolves on screen where they belonged, shirtless and sexy, not out here in the ice-cold, pitch-black kitty litter box, where they were more likely to have beady eyes, bad breath, and claws, and an appetite. And then AJ appears. God, I really burned through some of these chapters. Good for me. So, chapter 7, where AJ appears, she's just like, well, I snuck aboard because you guys never include me in anything. And my response is, I want to beat this bitch with her own shoes. I do want to beat this bitch with her own shoes, but like, again, I told y'all gotta stop monologuing where this girl can hear you. So after Shira takes the boys back, Charlie is musing about all of this, and she just goes, Shira famous for clawing her way to the top and staying there because she always looked out for number one. One of her motives was no regrets. But regret was exactly what she would feel if Charlie and the others died. Regret and maybe even guilt. Because in a way, this was Shira's fault. And I'm just like, she's the headmaster. If these girls die, that's a terrible PR if these girls die on her watch. Like, bro. Chapter 12. The girls are big fighting. Charlie goes full alpha with the goal of getting back home. She knows she won't die. And now that she knows she won't die, she wants to take control. Allie is no help and being dehydrated and tired and snarky. Charlie pushes for an idea that is shit about them, like, leaving the desert, like, trying to leave the desert and then going off, borrowing someone's car to get back. Sky kind of contributes, but again, Sky has never been smart, and that's never been her bag, and she has literally never pretended to be smart. Sometimes you have to be the leader of your group because you're the only one with a brain cell between you two, and that's okay. One of y'all's got to be in the emotional core, and that's dramatic ass Allie. Allie is really snarky because she feels that Charlie doesn't take her ideas seriously. They bicker. Charlie claims that Sky never defends her in arguments where Allie goes off, and Sky's just like, I don't know, I was in my own plot, my own half of the book. She's reminded them all that Charlie has done for the group, and they all yell at each other until Allie breaks in and tries to pump them up with a speech, but all she does is admit to attempted murder, in which she tells the group that she filled up the gas tank on the pap with French fry oil, so that, and that's why it went down. She caused this. This is fully Allie's fault. I had a feeling that maybe Mayday and Louise were sore losers. I thought maybe that the weight of 7 people being on a plane would kind of jimble your jambles a little bit. No. It's just this dumb decided to put she gives people who care about the environment a bad rep. She does say one of my favorite lines, which is, "You'll all thank me later when the planet's not 3 degrees hotter," and I'm just like, 10 years later, we're already there. Your sacrifice means nothing. 10 pages ago, they were just like, oh my god, almost dying in a plane crash together would surely bond us all together forever. And now you're just like, I hope this bitch chokes and dies. Chapter 13. Guys, like, okay. At this fight, they all break up. And so they're all going their own separate ways in the desert like idiots. Like, no compass, just vibes. Oh no. That's what I get for sitting. Okay, so Sky wonders what Charlie's deal is. And if she could kill this. I'm gonna run through these next couple of chapters very quickly because they are essentially the girls in the desert. Sky, chapter 13, Sky wonders what Charlie's deal is. And if she could kill this field mouse without expending too much energy. She's wondering if Taz is for her since he just abandoned her at the first sight. And she decides that he's not for her and that she doesn't even like him that much. And she starts smelling something and she goes to follow the smell of the food. Chapter 14. Allie, she smells the food. She comes to terms with the fact that Mel is a big indoor baby and that she shouldn't hold him to these standards. That's very on brand. She's still very much in love with him and that, you know, she's very happy. And she starts doing this thing where she thinks about what she's gonna shop. She, you know, passes the time by thinking about what she's gonna buy when she's able to go back to her mom because she knows she's not winning the alpha competition with all of this happening. So she thinks about it and she realizes that she no longer feels like a slave to capitalism and the trend cycle and that she's really developed her own style. She's no longer pulling from the girls in the fashion magazines. She is the girl in the fashion magazines. She is alphaed up. Allie also starts to smell the food and she like creates this whole story in her mind because that's Allie's MO. And she comes upon these girls that kind of look like Girl Scouts. And she's like, I can't focus on what they're saying. But she's ready to get some food. Chapter 15. Charlie is 2 watching the Scouts as she waits to see them and leave their food so that she could steal their food. Even though I personally, if I saw some people who looked like they were just like normal Americans, honestly, if I saw anyone and they came up and I could like just walk up to them and be like, hey, I had a plane crash and like I'm starving, can you please offer me a little bit, can you share some of your food and maybe just like some time, that'd be great. No, these soft brain children are just like, I've gotta steal these Girl Scouts food because that's the only alpha way. Sharing is not caring. She goes up to get the food and then she gets caught in a bear snare and is up feet above her head, and the Scouts take her away for a tribunal where they discuss how they've been watching them. A little note as we exit this section is Charlie's always like, my friends always make me fix their problems. It's like you offered and they accepted. You sacrifice when no one asks, and that's always my biggest thing, is don't sacrifice when people ask. Be as giving as you want to be. Don't offer someone food out of your mouth and then complain when you're starving. You offered, bro. Okay. Chapter 16, Sky. All the girls, Sky, Allie, and the like are all, you know, getting ready for this tribunal. They actually, you know, end up sleeping with these burlap sacks over their head as they wait for these wilderness girls, legally distinct from Girl Scouts, hold them captive. They're held captive by the Wilderness Girls, a group of unrelated to the Girl Scouts, legally distinct, of adventure girls that are uber competent, aesthetically opposite of alphas. They are all about friendship and conquering the wilderness. The Wilderness Girls tell them that they have a survival score of 2 combined. They're all breaking up and going in separate directions makes them unsafe over anything else. And so does their lack of friendship and teamwork. They claim that, so the girls, the alphas, the Jackie O's, claim that they totally had best friendshipness up until Charlie decided to throw a hissy fit. And Charlie, again, taking a leadership position that no one offered her up to, is just like, we're totally besties, you know? She's just tired of being the leader, and Sky is just like, we all lean on each other. Allie decides to relinquish drama and being a dramatic person, which again, I don't think you should change yourself for people. I think sometimes you're a messy bitch, and maybe I'm the problem, but sometimes you're a messy bitch, and you should just know when to tone down the messy bitch. But saying that you're going to relinquish feeling your feels in the way that you feel them feels unhealthy to me. But you know what? I'm a messy, dramatic bitch, so I can't be helped. Allie relinquishes drama and Sky relinquishes boys. And they all make up. Charlie explains she was a threat, and the Wilderness Girls agree to help them as long as they find AJ. The Jackios reunite! Yay, friendship! Chapter 17, Allie. The agreement that Allie gives the Wilderness Girls is that they will help them find Allie in exchange for a makeover in which the Wilderness Girls, one of the Wilderness Girls is like flirting with some guy best friend from the Boy Scouts, which again, they can use Boy Scouts but not Girl Scouts. That's stupid. And she wants to impress him and like, you know, show that she can be both a girly girl and a hyper competent thing. And she also, the other girls want to relish in their natural beauty. So Allie then throws together some shit and they, you know, they begin the makeover. Allie gets to flex her mall model actress pop culture skills by doing a makeover with all natural beauty stuff. We're in chapter 7. Allie shook her head with a wide grin spreading across her lips. We're going to make our own products. Here's what we'll need. Eucalyptus leaves, bottled water, desert sand, cactus extract, the bone rib from a small desert carcass, mud from under a boulder, preferably one infused with peat moss, and the saliva of a western banded gecko. They love doing this thing with Allie, where they have her say a bunch of names and things from pop cultures with these nouns and adjectives that are supposed to mean something to show that she's pop culture mall life knowledge. And it's just cringe to me. Top tier cringe. But then Charlie and Sky burst out laughing, amazed at what Allie had come up with. Where did all that come from? Charlie asked in between giggles. What? Allie giggled and shrugged. Am I the only one who reads organic style? You've been holding out on us, Sky chortled, whipping a laugh tear from beneath her eye. Allie laughed too, reveling in the feeling that having her besties back. The only thing worse than going it alone in the desert was thinking that her friends had given up on her. Girl! Jesus! This is quite the marathon. So chapter 18. It's 4:38 p.m. They're trying to get back before sunset, which, you know, is around like 5:36-ish. And they're chasing Allie via scent. They're chasing AJ via scent. The Wilderness Girls have been teaching them some stuff, and they've been, you know, bonding and having a good ass time when they come across AJ's green tam, and they're like, oh shit, did this girl die? Did she get murked because she was out here trying to commune with geese or whatever? No, turns out they get a signal all of a sudden, and AJ has gone back to the PAP, and she essentially led them on a wild goose chase to find her scent, and now is running back to Alpha Academy herself. She is going to be the Alpha for life, leaving them to suffer. It is not clear that she's riding back in the PAP. I just get that after reading this book. They're like, oh my god, she's gonna get back there first, and the girls are all defeated. Until the newly beautified wilderness girls bring in a whole ass helicopter. Again, who's letting these girls who are aged like 13 to like 15 drive helicopters? But whatever, I guess. Fuck me. I can cut that. Whatever, I guess. 19. So they're riding back to the pavilion in the helicopter as they discuss all they've gone through with the wilderness girls and each other. They get back and they decide that they all have to run in together at the same time because they want to all be there at, by sunset together. So they're all running in there, and then they come into this darkened pavilion, and it's just She-Ra, and AJ's not there, but they're like not Alpha for life, and neither of the girls are Alpha for life, and they're like, it's all for naught. Was Alphas just the friendships they made along the way? Are they finally leaving this empty ass island for good? Because Sky notes as she comes in that the island that was teeming with girls previous to this is empty. Empty. And she decides that if she wins, it's going to be a win for all the friends she made along the way. So I hate her bunheads. Really, I don't think anyone else made any friends. Like, Charlie surely did, and she's like, I only need one friend, and I'm gonna fucking rule this girl's life. And Allie literally had no time to make friends because for half the semester everyone hated her. Chapter 20. So Allie peeps a curtain, a shimmery curtain, as it opens up to show that they are on a large scale stage. And there's cameras and everything. Lacey Harrison, what is wrong? What? I want to fight. Like, I do want to fight at this point. Like, meet me behind a McDonald's. We're gonna scrap. Because you know what this big old twist is? That for the last 3 books I've read? I don't think you're ready. I have a headache all over again. It was a reality TV show. There's cameras everywhere. So every time the cameras would go down, that was She-Ra losing money. They just fucked these girls' educations up for a whole semester. For a TV show. And, God, I can, a TV show. It was a reality TV show all over. As the girls come to grips with what has happened, their most embarrassing moments, all on screen for national television, like Sky eating that onion and farting, Charlie, I don't know, because most of Charlie's plot was happening during the parts where they couldn't see, and Allie straight up drugging a girl to ruin her reputation. Benadryl, she roofied that girl. The auditorium lights up and you can see all the girls' parents except for Charlie's, and you can see all the sent home alphas as they sit and clap and cheer. There are fans in the audience, people who have been watching the show and who are team whatever girl. And Sky asks She-Ra kind of slyly, like, oh, were we gonna be the winners all along? And she was just like, no, you're just like America's favorite. But you know what? I could probably see them being America's favorite because they were the most hot mess, and we love a mess in reality TV shows. I read this and I felt like I lost years on my life. I have not been feeling great this entire weekend. So when this hit me like a train at 11 p.m. last night, I thought, am I gonna pass out? Am I gonna die for this shit? I'm not gonna give Lacey. I'm not gonna give Miss Harrison the pride of killing me with this shit. So, chapter 21 is the Sky chapter. How did this accidentally end up in the theme of my channel, being reality TV show competitions? I swear to God, I just wanted a girl boss. But I guess to girl boss is to self-product. You as the girl boss are the product. And is that not what reality TV show is? When did my light go out? Y'all, I'm so mad. Like, Sky's truly feeling like truly sick after this, knowing what she did, what she's done, and she feels like she hasn't made her parents proud when her parents roll up and they talk to her about how proud they were, and they explain that essentially when Sky signed all these papers without looking at them, and without them looking at it, they essentially signed their rights away, licensing wise, in perpetuity, forever, to Shira and her girl bossedness. God, she got that RuPaul 360 deal. You can't make money without World of Wonder, baby. She's got her heads, and technically all her hopes and dreams have come true. She was one of the last alphas standing. She goes up to Taz, and at first you think she's going to really rip into him because he's giving an interview with this woman, and she's just like, I didn't even know. And she's just like, we're not getting back together. And he's like, can I have your number? Can I text you? And she's just like, I think it's best that we don't. Very cool. Very coy. Love it. Love it. We stand an ice cold diva. Thinking about every embarrassing thing she did, while she has a nice moment with Triple and the Bunheads, Triple has officially been upgraded to frenemy fully. Like, that's her bit. She's a frenemy of Sky, and the Bunheads are her betas, her friends. You know, the whole alphas, omegas, betas things has been debunked by science, by the people who even created it. So, like, I should let it go. But chapter 22. Allie breaks up with Mel, and also has to re-break up with Fletcher because Fletcher's there, and he's like trying to get back with her, and it's just like, remember how cool it was that everyone thought we were siblings? And I totally forgotten about that character bit, and I was like, I hate it here. I hate it here. Truly and for real, I hate it here with Fletcher. But when she looks at Mel, after everything she's gone through, she realizes she has no respect for him. Love that. And when she looks at Fletcher, she's like, I'm too good for you. Like, all you have is the mall, and I'm an actress now. So good for her, she breaks up with her. Charlie is all alone. She's real sad about it, as everyone's milling about, because her mother isn't allowed on the property because of Shira and her's agreement. But her mother texts her, and she knows that she's gonna see her mother in the next couple of days. Darwin goes up to her and they chit-chat. They tell each other that they love each other and that she'll always be his angel fish, which, like, Was that a thing in the first book? Like, I know book 2 they really were dating again, but like, that was not at all a thing until this book. You can't gaslight me, Lacey. I can't be gaslit. I take notes. She's, you know, sitting there thinking about her best friends and what they're gonna do when she gets a job offer from the United States government. They want to offer her a job to use her mind. Allie also got offered management for like acting and modeling and whatever else she wants to do. And she decides that she'll only take this job working for the government if she can bring Darwin with her. Which again, like, aren't y'all like 15? But whatever. 14. Epilogue. Alpha's reunion show. The girls link up for the first time in 6 months since the pavilion. Allie is working on a CW show. Sky is going to the New York School of Ballet. She's also going to be flown out to the United Kingdom to be the Swan and Swan Lake up there. And Charlie can't talk about literally anything she's doing because it's all top secret. But it's, you know, just proof to show how happy the girls are in their new lives. That they are exactly where they are supposed to be, at the top of their game. They're all still best friends, and they're alphas for life. And somehow the only person who has lost is me. Also, I kind of left it out. What happened to AJ? She fully got... she like rolled up in there to like take her spot with the rest of the girls, and Allie was like, I swear to God, if you let her win with us, I'm walking. And so security and like all the muses like pull her, and she's like a screaming ball. And it's just like, girl, you were already a superstar before you got here. Like, go home, Greta Thunberg meets Billie Eilish. Greta Eilish, like, go off elsewhere. So that's how the book ends. All the girl bosses are girl bossing separately, but they'll always have each other, and they'll always have the traumatic experience that is almost dying in a plane crash together in the desert brings. I feel like I'm being punished. What was this book? Truly, like, the entirety of this book was a what the fuck after what the fuck. I was whipped around. Please. I signed up for girl bosses on a girl boss island, girl bossing each other out. They were supposed to gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss their way to the top. I expected it to end with friendship. I did not expect it to end with them in the desert. Like, and why does this book have 4 stars on Goodreads? I guess if children were reviewing it. I have kind of a list of things that like never come up again. And some things that like you never hear from Louise and Mayday again. Do they feel bad about the fact that like those girls could have died? What the hell happened to Jess? The boy, the Taiwanese boy that Charlie was really into, and like they were like flirting with, and then he was like gonna come for Christmas, and like nothing ever came up with Allie threatening to expose Charlie as Shiva's spy. Like, what I think happened, I don't know. But what it feels like happened is the death of a genre happened. Essentially, the clique came and closed the door, and there was no space for the alphas behind it to get any more than what they got. So it's like after book 2 happened, and they were setting up a pretty okay story, we essentially had these plot lines that if we just pretended like they didn't happen, they just didn't happen. So it's like they wanted to write like 10 books like the clique had, and go all the way to summer, go to like 2 semesters, have Jess show up at Christmas and create drama with Darwin, and then like Charlie be Shira's spy for that much longer. Having literally like triple just be sent home out of nowhere. Like they just start sending girls home like out of nowhere, where you could have had it more be like a drip feed. You could have had more girls break under the pressure in a more realistic way. And then the summer ending in the desert. A desert plane crash ending the series in November makes no sense. I just like, I'm so mad. Like, what did Charlie go and make in the lab at the end of book 3 when it was Alpha's Gone Wild? It's just like, it's like they kept shortening her runway to land the plane, and thus we had a plane crash. Oh my god, like, why did 17 chapters take place in the desert? And also, Dingo was literally never relevant to the plot at any point, and he did not need to exist. Which is all things that I blame on just like the book getting shorted. It's so bad. It was like, the other 3 books, like, I could at least see as being like young adult middle grade chapter books. These books I actively found to be bad and made me upset. So do with that information what you will. Yeah, I need to take a break, I think. At least, I don't actually. I want to continue reading. So, I will probably have already picked by the time this video comes out, because I filmed book 3 and 4 back to back. So, I will have already like gotten on the train. There's no neat bow. I can't. I don't know. I got both of them here because it started in my pink book, and I would only write with a pink font. My god. But girl boss. Girl boss. Everybody say girl boss. Oh my god. We're done! You can follow my makeup channel somewhere on here. It's on the end card. And you can check out my playlist with all of these in it. Girl bossing through history will have all the books in the series related to this, but also I think I'll just make an alphas playlist. And if you like to hear me on a more day-to-day basis in a less sweary way, I do Bachelor recaps. I don't know, this book broke me. I am not okay. I'm not the same person I was at this point 24 hours ago. Yeah! Bye guys. Oh, this is from before. This is from I didn't really dwell on this as they were getting into the plane, but I feel like it's such a great dig. It's a good joke. I want to use it. A Snooki-colored Hillary Clinton took a swig from an aluminum water bottle. No contest. Taz is totally the hottest one. He's Efron and Lautner put together, and all I could think was 5'8", 5'8.5", because I believe Efron is 5'9" and Lautner is 5'8", so just split the difference, 5'8.5".